Hello dear viewer! Last episode we built a beautiful mall for basic items, required to make the planet self-sufficient. Because in order to expand the mall we need chests, inserters, assemblers and of course bots, roboports and substations. Top left I added the production of modules, on the right side pipes and belts. And very important, I want to produce rare big mining drills, with the required rare ingredients being produced on the left side. Why are rare big mining drills a #1 priority for me? It is of course because of the better resource drain property, with rare big mining drills only reducing a resource 33% of the time. Since quality production is very slow, we haven't been on Fulgora yet, I try to use level 2 productivity modules and I set very low thresholds to not overproduce a specific item. In retrospect, I should have probably made rare quality modules first. Anyway, we already work on mining productivity level 6 and next I also want to get elevated rails and beacons. With beacons you can use modules way more effectively. Using modules will increase power demand. Supporters on Patreon who downloaded the last save game probably know that we are drawing close to 200 megawatts, which is why I decided to increase power production by a lot. Since we now have cliff explosives, I can free up some space down south. Close to the sulfuric acid geysers, I want to set up a 1 gigawatt acid neutralization power plant. Last video, someone in the comment section was totally bewildered that bots can destroy cliffs. I mean, of course they can. You can do everything in remote these days. There it is. It's the same blueprint we used before, but 5 times. It's hard to film and capture the construction of new subfactories, because at this point bots will do all of the hard work, while the engineer becomes more and more useless. But I still find joy in manually building the pipe, transporting the sulfuric acid. We also require calcite. The lava processing subfactory is nearby, so let's take it from there. Let's see if everything works as expected. The first turbines are spinning up. I think we are fine, which allows me to deconstruct the old power plant. That's approximately 5 times 200 megawatts. Oil processing and plastic is the bottleneck on Vulcanus. So in order to increase production, I use more and more productivity modules and beacons with speed modules. This will increase efficiency and speed. By the way, why are productivity modules called productivity modules when they really increase efficiency? Wikipedia says productivity is the efficiency of production of goods. On the other hand, efficiency is the ability to avoid wasting materials. Okay, I'm confused to be honest. Anyway, instead of defining words, let's set up a rocket fuel production. Since Fulgora is our next goal, we better start producing rocket parts. Right now there is no rocket silo yet. Rocket fuel can also be used to power trains. And since I researched elevated rails, this will become important soon. Okay, looking good so far. Last task, we have to connect the light oil pipeline. Okay, nice. The beacons are already there, but level 3 speed modules are still missing. To the left of the oil processing plant, I free up some space for the rocket silos. I like to set up a proper logistic group for the rocket parts. This group can then be reused for all requester chests, even on other planets. The inserters are turned by 90 degrees, because I only want to insert rocket parts when the productivity modules are all present. The new rocket silo animations are gorgeous and mesmerizing. On the minimap you can see that the northern part of this plateau is guarded by Demolisher. There's also a huge tungsten patch in this area. So let's get rid of it using rare poison capsules again. At this point I decided to deconstruct the boxcar spaceship. I want to replace it with my improved Asteroid Gambit MK2 spaceship. It's slightly larger and has way more storage space. I probably should have launched some repair packs first, because the platform has a hard time defending itself, while still under construction. Vulcanus is the best planet to construct space platforms, because space platform foundations are basically free. They are made exclusively from iron and copper, and these resources are free on Vulcanus because of the lava processing. I have to say, the new system to automatically construct space platforms is amazing. I still launch some rockets manually, because it's fun to do so. For example, this one with foundations and repair packs. If you take a close look, I immediately want to upgrade some items to rare quality, like furnaces, solar panels and cargo bays. 7 foundries are working on quality resources, but it still will take quite a lot of time. By using more and more modules and beacons, I slowly but steadily increase the signs per minute rate. At this point reaching close to 90 signs per minute. I also speed up the labs with beacons. We are still missing one important science pack. Golden science, which is for example required to research higher levels of physical projectile damage and speed. Since golden science requires blue circuits, which require a lot of green circuits, a new subfactory must be constructed. This time we don't need that many red circuits, which is why I will take some of them from the already existing subfactory. On the left side, the production of low density structures. Processing units will be made here, and then there's the production of batteries, robotic frames and last but not least, electric engines. Since power is no concern, I'm using productivity modules level 2 everywhere, offsetting the speed penalty with beacons. We can improve and refactor these subfactories later after unlocking the EM plants from Fulgora. The production of LDS is already very efficient in foundries, and there's research to improve it even more. A couple of modules are still missing, but that shouldn't stop us from checking if everything works as expected. I can see RoboFrames being produced, but the production of engines seems to stall. Engines rely on molten iron, and as you can see, the pipeline is empty. Turns out production isn't fast enough because we can't get rid of the byproduct stone fast enough. Currently there's only one bulk inserter per foundry, and not enough for sped up foundries. Let's output stone with 2 bulk inserters at once. Also, a single fast transport belt will not be sufficient. Time to void stone using the landfill trick. We turn 50 stone into one piece of landfill and then we can dispose it. Very easily. Let's make sure that the inserters output on the right side of the belt. A new feature in 2.1. The molten iron bottleneck should be gone. Let's make sure plastic will not be the next bottleneck. Did you know that rare level 2 productivity modules are as good as normal level 3 ones? Since we abandoned Nauvis completely, this will be important later. We can't produce plastic without coal coming in, so let's build the belt. While we are in the preventing bottleneck business, let's also improve the stone voiding for the molten copper production. Of course, I'm using the landfill trick again. Now that golden science packs are available, we can increase the stack size of our bulk inserters. The last upgrade even improves normal inserters to a stack size of 3. For good measure, let's also increase the bot speed. Belts are the heart and soul of Factorio. We already unlocked turbo belts. To produce them, we first have to set up express belts, which require lubricant. Express belts eat gears for breakfast, which is why I built adjacent to the gear foundry. The only belt that needs an upgrade right now is the one carrying coal, for the coal liquefaction subfactory. Now that beacons and modules are involved, a capacity of 1800 per minute is not sufficient anymore. At this point we reach around about 150 signs per minute. That's thanks to modules and beacons. In the meantime, the base finished a couple of rare items for my new spaceship. Rare furnaces, solar panels and cargo bays. And I also want to upgrade to level 2 efficiency modules. Very important to lower the power consumption in space. Fulgora is so far away from the sun, or rather Alpha Canis, solar panels in orbit only produce 120% of the normal solar panel output. If I want to leave Vulcanus, I also have to deal with this coal patch, which is running out eventually. So let's set up a mall for train products and start mining the new patch, transporting coal by train. First I built the coal unloading station. Even though my engineer sits there, I do everything in remote view. You can even let bots build the locomotives and wagons. Next, the unloading station needs a name, of course. Since this station is for coal, I choose the color black. My preferred naming pattern always starts with the item symbol, then a space, and usually unload or load. Always make it a habit to set a proper train limit. In this case 1. We also need a proper train unloader. I made a semi-viral video about this. Long ago actually, but I still like the side loading into a splitter. There are some issues unloading this way onto yellow, red and blue belts. But for turbo belts, this is the best design. And eventually, I want to upgrade all belts to turbo belts anyway. Time to build the train tracks using elevated rails. This will be a struggle because of the lava pits here on Vulcanus. Building completely straight isn't possible usually. Let's see what the game's pathfinding recommends. It would be beneficial to stay close to the tungsten patch over there. Because then I can later maybe share the track with the tungsten train. Yeah, I think I like this path. With full Robopod coverage, my bots could build all of this. But there are some gaps here and there, so let's do a couple of things manually. For example, I want to extend the substation grid from west to east and place a couple of Roboports. I fixed the missing Robopod coverage in the center off screen. Let's keep going. More substations and Roboports are necessary to reach the 10 million coal patch down south. I then decided to first build the unloading station, plus the elevated rail ramp. This way I can utilize the automatic pathfinding again, finding the best way to connect it to the already existing tracks. Now that we know where the train tracks will be exactly, we can follow up building substations and Roboports. As soon as a connection is established, Bot will help us build all of this. It's just a matter of waiting. Sometimes when making these videos, I'm not sure if I'm progressing fast enough. See, I don't want to bore you guys to death. When in doubt, I take a look what Nilos is doing. Not only are his episodes 3 times as long, at this stage of the game he's already at episode 15, so I guess I'm fine. The station name has to be Coal Load. Train limit of 1. To load coal into the wagons we need a proper train loader. I will use a very simple design, 4 chests for each wagon. A single belt has ample throughput for our coal mining, especially considering that we will upgrade to turbo belts in a moment. Let's start with 2 rare big mining drills, plus speed modules. At this point, with the current mining productivity, they will fill approximately a full red belt. We can add more drills later. I do want to take 4 of these with me to Fulgora. It's not really necessary considering how huge the scrap patches on Fulgora are. Usually you find them with 20 to 25 million scrap. The train schedule is very simple. We go from coal load, full cargo, to coal unload, empty cargo. I don't know, trains on Vulcanus flying over the lava. Absolutely amazing. Seems like the loading station works as expected. Let's take our first train ride. After checking the coal unloader, we have to connect the new incoming coal belt to the belts we already have, which is easier said than done. Coal liquefaction should have priority for sure, which is why I set up the splitter with output priority right. The new incoming coal belt should also be connected to the plastic production somehow. Let's introduce some spaghetti to make it work. Close enough for government work. There's a single logistic bot bringing the last piece of the puzzle to finish my spaceship. A rare processing unit to craft the last rare cargo bay required. Let's launch it and a couple of other items to space. Actually, there's space for more, so let's grab some level 3 speed modules. They will come in handy on Fulgora, I promise. Okay, let's go. Ah, finally, the rare Asteroid Gambit MK2 is completed. Before starting the trip to Fulgora, I want to set up turbo belts. I talked about them a lot, here they come. I will very likely set up a sushi belt on Fulgora, maybe even a double sushi belt, which is why I absolutely want the best belts possible. To craft them we need tungsten steel, or tungsten plates, so to collect them I need some overproduction. A beacon with 2 speed modules to the rescue. I will output half of the plates into passive provider chests. Before going to Fulgora, I also want to improve my engineer's armor. That's Power Armor Mark II with a huge equipment grid. Remember, we abandoned the Nauvis base, so I have no uranium and no portable fission reactor. A larger equipment grid allows me to carry more solar panels. I have this weird tick or superstition. I have to put this armor into the crashed spaceship on Nauvis. That's why I'm now sending the old power armor to space. I know it's silly, but it's also a little funny side quest. Is it even possible to bring the power armor to the crashed ship? without anything working on Nauvis? Let's figure it out. First, I add a request in the crashed ship for the Power Armor Mark II. We do have 5 logistic and construction bots here, but no spare roboports. So let's try to move the roboport from the top to the left near the cargo landing pad. And here we go, the bot is bringing the Power Armor Mark II. Yes, mission accomplished. Now I can sleep well tonight. Let's revert the roboport change and move on. There's a static space science producing platform in Nauvis orbit. Utilizing the platform-to-platform transportation feature, we can move them over. And then use Asteroid Gambit to transport these science packs back to Vulcanus. Let me show you the equipment grid that will hopefully provide enough power for Fulgora. A huge amount of portable solar panels and 8 personal batteries Mark II. Someone in the comment section asked for a use case for active provider chests. Here it is. A chest to get rid of the whole inventory before leaving the planet. Bots will then automatically take out these items and move them to appropriate chests. Dear viewer, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time when we will conquer Fulgora with a sushi belt. And a special shout out to my generous Patreon supporters. You make this content possible with your generous support. Thank you so much.